Hi, everyone out there. You're welcome back to my channel. And upon returning, the last time we're here, I promised that I'm going to come back to give you reliable informations and updates on how to immigrate to Canada from all over the world, wherever you're hearing me from, wherever you domicile, wherever you're living, you can migrate to Canada. And today I'll be giving you the ways which I have collated, and I think I deem it fit to be the 5 ways which you can put an application to migrate to Canada. And according to Canadian visa immigration page in 2022/2024, Canada will be given up to 1.3 million people across the world a chance to come to Canada. So you need to do your assignment very well. You need to know which category or what category is best for you to choose so that it can be easier for you to migrate to Canada. And every information that you need is available on the Canadian Visa Immigration official page. But today we'll be looking into a series of questions that people have been asking, and I will give you the 5 easiest way. In 2002 2004 Canadian immigration plan. Uh, Before we go on, I'd like you to do me a favor. Please like this video. There's so many other contents relating to migration, traveling, and how to plan your trips. So if you wouldn't mind, please, before we continue, like my page, subscribe to this channel, and like my video. Yeah, I plead with you to like my video. Yeah, thank you, because I know you've clicked on that like. And if you don't mind, please, you have one contribution or the other, you can as well comment in the comment section. We are all learning together. No one is a teacher, nobody is a teacher. We contribute to grow together. And please don't forget to push the notification button. By so doing, you will be notified each time I upload a new video so that you'll be the first person to get notified. Yeah, without much ado and without wasting much of our time, let's set the ball rolling. So if you're ready, I am ready to give you the 5 ways, easiest way to migrate to Canada in 2022-2024 Canadian immigration plan for people, everyone across the world, whichever category is best for you. You first of all need to identify that before you start your application. And as we all know, I'm not meant to threaten you, but the fact is, immigration to Canada is not that easy. But there are steps to follow to get approved, to get your papers approved, your documents approved, and within few months, you get feedback from the Canadian embassy in your home country, and by so doing, that will increase your chances of having your visa application approved by Canadian embassy in your home country. So these are the 5 ways to migrate to Canada in 2002 2004 immigration plan from Canadian visa immigration page, the official page. And I'm giving you this information after making so much inquiries into this. And the first one is Express Entry Program. But before we go on, I'd like to warn you, if you are applying for Canada, if you are applying to migrate to Canada, please don't use fake documents. Not only Canada, for any country. So if you think you're going back to do it by the way of fake document, this channel is not supposed to be for you. Everything we do on this channel is legal, and we admonish and encourage people to do it themselves. As a matter of fact, it is boldly reading on the Canadian visa immigration page that you should be encouraged to do it yourself. Don't give your job to any travel agent, unlicensed travel agent that may put you into more troubles. And the first category I'm going to mention out of the five, the first one is Express Entry Program. This has been closed by Canada themselves. This has been closed earlier by Canada. This means of entry into Canada has been closed because of COVID. So they are bringing it back so that people can have a genuine way to migrate to Canada. And if you want to go by this way, Canadian immigration program that allows immigrants to live and work in Canada as skilled workers through express entry. This new system will allow Citizenship and Immigration Canada, that is CIC, to proactively access, recruit, and select immigrants who are skilled or possessed the relevant qualifications under federal economic immigration programs. Federal Skilled Worker Program, that's the first one, FSWP. As I mentioned all of this, you can do it's easier for you to do a background check on all of my information. And the second one is Federal Skilled Trace Program, still under the Express Entry Program. So under the Express Entry Program, we have three subcategories, which are the Federal Skilled Worker Program, FSWP, the Federal Skilled Trades Program, FSTP, and the Canadian Express Class, CEC. So you need to do background check on all of this information I'm dishing out to you so that you cross-check, you scrutinize, and you get to know the real facts. The Express Entry Program will allow individual provinces and territories to use the system in order to recruit suitable candidates as part of the provincial nominee programs as that labor, so that labor market demands are met, because there are a lot of demand in labor in Canada. Usually this is one of Canada's most popular programs, but we haven't seen an FSW draw since December of 2022. Yeah, because of COVID. And the CEC since September of 2021. They are also slower processing times due to COVID. So, but by mid 2022, everything should be back to normal. So please get prepared and dust your document. You can actually start applying. I mean, you can actually start thinking of applying to migrate to Canada. Again, under the Express Entry Program. I know many people will be excited to hear about this. Express Entry Program is coming back. Oh, you remember that was a major route used by Canada to migrate people into the country. And because of COVID-19, they have to stop it. They put stop to it, and now they're resuming. It means that Canada themselves will welcome immigrants for job. So these are great news for people all over the world that are interested to migrate to Canada. The express entry is back. A great news. The express entry is back, and please make utmost use of this opportunity. And the second one is family class sponsorship. This has always been there. You have a family there, and you want to migrate to Canada. A family reunification. Family reunification remains the cornerstone of Canada's immigrant policy. Families in Canada can sponsor their relatives to come to Canada on a permanent basis. This is wonderful. Once you have a tie, a family tie in Canada, you can migrate to Canada on a permanent basis. In order to qualify to sponsor your relative, you have to be a Canadian citizen or a permanent resident in Canada. I mean, the category of people you can sponsor is your spouse and your children under the age of 22 years. There are some exceptions though. Sponsoring your parents or grandparents is no longer an option at this time. However, you can bring them to Canada under the super visa category that we're going to mention next. I mean, we're going to mention later. So the third one is LMIA work visa. Under this LMIA work visa, many applicants for Canadian immigration first get Canadian job offers. Before you can start with, you have to get a job offer. Apply for a work visa, and then on that basis, you can immigrate to Canada. This LMIA involves securing a Canadian job offer first. You need to look for a job, get an offer, and once your offer is approved, then this LMIA can work for you. Now, another way that people are using to get a card. Now, the fourth way is the Provincial Nominee Programs, PNP. It has always been there and it's still valid. PNP is valid. PNP is a route. PNP is increasingly becoming a popular route and ways to migrate to Canada, whereby is a way where Canadian provinces such as Alberta, especially Ontario, British Columbia, and others have developed their own immigration programs that often lead to a fast track process. However, the PMP category generally requires that applicants reside in the respective provinces after they arrive in Canada. So that means if you use the PNP, it means if you use the PMP route, you will remain in that province. Once you arrive, you will remain and work and live in such province that you made use of once you arrived in Canada. Once you arrived Canada. And I'm going to give you a few. I'm going to give you all the provinces where this opportunity, uh, uh, where these opportunities are available at the moment. The first province is Alberta Immigration Nominee Program, AINP. The second is British Columbia Provincial Nominee Program, BCPNP. Manitoba Provincial Nominee Program, MPNP. Newfoundland and Labrador Provincial Nominee Program, NLPNP. New Brunswick Provincial Nominee Program, NBPNP. Nova Scotia Provincial Nominee Program, NSPNP. Northwest Territories Nominee Program, NTNP. Ontario Immigrant Nominee Program, OINP. And Prince Edward Island Provincial Nominee Program, PEI-PNP. Quebec Skilled Workers Program, QSWP. Yeah, and Saskatchewan Immigrant Nominee Program, SINP, and the last one is Yukon Nominee Program, YNP, and the last option where you can migrate to Canada is Canadian Investor Immigration. And this last one, which is called the Canadian Investor Immigration, is designed for high net worth people that, I mean, individuals that have managed business overseas with great and high net worth. So, if you fall in this category, you're welcome to Canada to come and invest. You're coming with a whole lot of money to come and invest. So, this is another way. And there are two subcategories under this investors immigration. The first one is a federal investor program, and the other one is Quebec investors program. And under these both, you can migrate to Canada as an investor. Now we're going to be attending to questions that people have been asking about immigration to Canada, especially after COVID-19. Everything is back to normal, we can say. And people are asking Canada, are there other options to migrate? And I tell them, yes, there are other options to migrate and migrate to Canada, such as the CEC category, which is a humanitarian compassionate application that has to do with refugee and seeking asylum in Canada. And the other one is Atlantic Immigration Pilot Program. And the Canadian Experience Class, which is CEC, is allowing people that have actually had an earlier experience of work, of job in Canada for like a year to migrate permanently to Canada. If you have worked in Canada for like a year, minimum of a year, you can now apply to migrate to Canada permanently. That falls under the CEC, which is the Canadian Experience Class. It means you have worked in Canada, you have an experience in Canada as a worker, so you are not new to Canada system. And under this category, you can actually apply to migrate to Canada permanently. And the other one, which is the refugee humanitarian and compassionate application, these are for the people that are in Canada. They are residing in Canada, but when you check their status, they are undocumented immigrants, as in they don't have a permanent residence and they don't have a legal status to live in Canada. So these are the people that seek asylum, and they fall under the category of H and C, which is humanitarians and compassionate uh, application. So once you're in Canada, you can file in for this. And refugees, which is, and under this same category, we have the refugee claims, which individuals, that is, individuals can make an asylum claim in Canada at a port of entry or at an inland CBSA or Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada IRCC office. They must demonstrate why they can go. I mean, in this case, you have to demonstrate why you cannot go back to your country. I mean, why it is not safe for you to return to your country of citizenship, and that is what is called a refugee claim. But you must, this is asylum claim. And two different questions that people are asking. One of the question here is who processes Canadian visa application? Who are the people that is responsible to process documents? I mean, visa application when applying citizenship, immigration, and refugees. Citizenship, immigration, and Refugees Canada promotes the entrance of immigrants and protects refugees and provides programs to assist newcomers in settling in Canada comfortably. And the IRCC also gives Canadian citizenship and issue travels papers such as passports. So another question we have here is what are the requirements to, and some other people are asking that what are the requirements to migrate to Canada? Different requirements. Each immigration act has its own basic requirements, but it is critical to confirm your eligibility before applying. When you apply, the Canadian government will ask when you are applying, they will ask you documents that confirms your experience in work, your education, your criminal and medical history will be asked. Your identification also will be asked. The sort of document necessary vary depending on the program to which you're applying. So document varies depending on the kind of programs you're applying. So to determine the particular document that you will need to provide, you need to know what category you fit in before you can. But the basic papers, the basic documents required is your education papers, your identification papers, your age declaration and attestation, your criminal records and health records. Now, somebody asked that what is the fastest way? Somebody asked that what is the fastest way to migrate to Canada? The fastest way is back, and that is why we're happy to talk about it, which is the entry category, the express entry category. That is the fastest way to migrate to Canada. Once you are approved, you uh, get you get to pack your loads and migrate to Canada. Uh, I bet for some other people, but the surest way anyway, but the surest way to migrate to Canada is when you have a relative with a close tie, maybe your wife or your husband or your father or your mother. You're able to prove beyond reasonable doubt that you have a close tie with such person residing in Canada, even as a citizen in Canada, and you can present valid papers to back it up. I mean, valid paper to back it up. That is when Canada, you can be rest assured that you can migrate to Canada through the Family Ties program. Somebody is asking that is Canada friendly to immigrants? Do they approve or disapprove visa application? Yeah, over the last half century, Canada has been known by record for, for inviting immigrants to Canada and values of with values of cultural diversity and especially the foreign-born people account for roughly one fifth of Canadian population. Imagine one fifth of Canadian population. So Canada is friendly when it comes to immigration, but they are strict. Canada is friendly but strict, and it takes a lot of time. The processing time is not as fast as some other countries in Europe. So is Canada easy to settle in after immigration? Canada is a developed country. So, and it's easy to settle in, it's easy to get a job, to start a new life in Canada. Do I need to have a work experience to migrate to Canada? No. Fortunately, there are a lot of chances and opportunities, for few immigration programs that are allow people without work experience to move to Canada legally, and the study permits are also there, family sponsorships. Example of this enable you to establish roots in the country and seek employment and permanent residence and enjoy your life. Is there any age limit to study in Canada? No, there is no age limit to study in Canada. However, you must be at least 18 years old to go, to apply for study in Canada, even though there is no age limit. If you're a minor, you must obtain a study permit in Canada. So there is no age limit to study in Canada. And some other people are, is it expensive to live in Canada? When you get there, you will know. But it's a developed country. So many questions that are meant for for kind of for to be answered only when you get into Canada. So many people actually want to know. Fast forward to why is visa being refused or disapproved by Canadian embassy, the major body IRCC that is in charge of this, when a visa is refused, they don't give you the reason, the main reason in the document they give back to you. They don't give you the main reason why you are refused a visa to migrate to Canada. But there are few reasons which you can get to know why a visa is refused. When you are applying for a visa, and the first one is it can be refused on when there is not enough supporting document, because you need to support your claim with clean documents. I mean, clean documents. Don't go and falsify any document and take it to Canadian embassy. You'll be exposed in no time. So if you have collated clean documents and you can use it to support your claim, I mean, the reasons why you're visiting or migrating to Canada in whichever category you choose to apply for, then it is good. Every see in on their website, every information is there. All the information you need are already been provided for. So you don't need to go, even if you're asking somebody with experience or the other in immigration space, you still need to be in the know. And the second one that can make the Canadian embassy refuse someone a visa is when your financial claim is undertoned. I mean, when you claim to have so amount, and at the end of the day, they find out that the figure you provided contradicts what you filled, that can make them refuse you a visa. And you must be able to show adequate financial resources in whatever category you've chose to migrate to Canada. Everything has its own specification. How much needed, in your account, how much needed for your travel for that moment that you plan to travel. I mean, to stay in Canada. And the third thing that can pose a threat, I mean, make them refuse you a visa, is about the security of Canadians. If you pose a threat to the security of Canada as a whole or their citizens, or you pose a threat either in crime space or in health space, you might be denied visa to enter Canada. So, security wise, you must be able to meet with the international standard, the security standard that Canada has specified uh, for immigrants. And health wise, you must be able to meet the standard, because there are series of tests. Depending on your category, there are series of tests that you need to run before you leave the shore of your country, your home country, to Canada. So if you are able to meet up with that, but if you're not able to meet up with that, it's one of the reasons why Canada refuse visa. And the last thing that may prompt a visa refuser, and the last thing that may prompt a Canadian visa refuser is based on the intelligence of the visa officer that interviewed you. If the person, I mean, at his or at discretion, judge that he or she suspects a foul play, or at his discretion or at her discretion. So it is not enough to have all of these things if your composition is not intact. You have to compose yourself in a way that reckon within the information that you have provided. And you cannot, for example, if you go to apply and you are told to provide for so amount of money in your account. For example, let's say 50,000 Canadian dollars that you need to fund your account with, and you go ahead to put like 100,000 or 200,000. You might be denied. Yeah, you can't psych them up. You cannot. I mean, well, you can't work contrary to their specification. What they want is what they want. They tell you 20,000 Canadian dollars must be provided in your account. Go ahead and put 20,000. Don't put 21,000. Don't put 22,000. You are not impressing anybody. As a matter of fact, they don't want to be impressed. So that is Canadian embassy for you. They don't want you to impress them. You cannot afford to be overconfident. They can deny on so many reasons. They can deny visa. So, and that is why until a visa officer approves you of a visa acceptation, you don't rejoice until then. Because at their discretion, even if you have met with the rest of the rest of their specification, you can still be denied visa. But I don't pray you are denied. Another thing that makes them deny is if you have applied for United States of America visa and you're denied. I learned that both of them shares database. I don't know how true is that, but once they see that you have been refused by United States, it's probably they refuse you a visa in Canada. So they work hand in hand. So, and you need to work on your travel experiences. For example, you want to go for holiday in Canada, and on your passport, there is no history of traveling, even to the nearby or neighboring country that is very, very close to your country. You've not traveled out, and you want to claim that you love tourism, and that is why they will ask you, why do you choose to go to America? I mean, why do you choose America for your first visit? Why is America the first place you want to go? Because you love tourism. There's so many countries you could go around your country, to enjoy tourism. They will ask you, why do you want to go to, do you want to come to Canada because of tourism? So you need to get yourself interviewed before you applied. You get to the proper interview. Now, if you have been refused visa, there are two ways which you can go. And make a solution. I mean, where you can provide. There are two ways you can settle this. You can actually reapply or make an appeal. It depends. And IRCC will not specify cogently the basic reason why you're denied or refused visa. But go ahead, read that letter carefully, and it will guide you into what you need to do. Into what and what you need to do. So it is always good to reapply. And in order to fortify yourself so that you won't get refused any longer, you must do your homework tightly. So, for example, you're a student and you have applied for Canada visa, study visa, and you're rejected. The next time you're reapplying, make sure you do your own work tightly because, for example, so many people will apply for a discipline that does not correlate with, they will apply for a course that does not correlate with their discipline. Imagine somebody that is a banker in his or her home country want to go to Canada and do medicine and do medicine. and apply for a medical field, you may be denied at the end of the day. You may be re-denied because you are reapplying. And so many reasons, that we cannot count. I mean, countless reasons made them to refuse visa. You must prove to them beyond reasonable doubt that you are coming to do exactly what, I mean, you're coming to do exactly what you have specified in your application. And at the end of your program, you must also show to them that you will leave their country, that you have to leave Canada. I mean, this varies. This is relative anyway, because after your study, if you get a job and there is a sponsorship visa that comes with the job, you're free and eligible to stay back. So you must make sure you do your homework tightly so that you are not refused or denied. And there's a question from someone that what if someone is refused? Why are we getting so much refusal question today? That if someone is refused based on family ties, I mean reunification, that's what probably may prompt a refusal of such a visa category. One thing is sure about Canada, and that is documentation. They don't joke or play with documentation. They will scrutinize you to the letter. They will not. They won't joke with you on that. So you have to prove to them that you have a close tie with such person, and part of the deal, especially as a couple, is yeah. Lest I forget, you can even travel without you being married to that person. There's something called cohabitation visa. Once your fiance was able to visit you, or maybe you are the one that is able to visit, during your courtship, and your courtship is over a year. Once you are able to prove that there is an intent, a genuine intent in your relationship on courtship, and you can prove, like they can ask you for the return ticket when you visited your fiance, or when she visited you. They will ask you for the ticket and the return ticket. They will ask you for the data page and at the page that was stamped in and stamped out of the country. So that will prove to them that truly, and they will also ask for phone communications or any other means of communications when you're communicating to you, I mean, with yourself. When you're communicating to yourself, so you'll be able to prove that pictures that both of you had together when you met or when you're together, so you'll be able to prove when you have a distance relationship, you're far apart from your partner, and you want to claim that you have a courtship. That is quite impossible. They would deny you on that ground. So you have to prove to them. So if you are your spouse resides in Canada, and she is a permanent or he is a permanent resident holder or a citizenship, you'll be able to prove beyond that. Yeah, you got married, and you'll be able to show how many children you've got, your birth certificate, uh, uh, and so many things to prove that yes. And you should be able to also show that maybe once or twice, or I mean perhaps thrice or more, you'll be able to see each other within 2 years, you know, and pictures that you took during your wedding together with your children, all of that has to be provided for. and there is no way you can doctor a document, and there is no way you can doctor a document that they won't get. I mean, they won't get at you. So please be clean, be genuine in your reasons and in your approach. Canada is really, really not difficult, but uh, Canada requires you to do it right from the foundation of your filing or application. So, on whatever grant that you are applying for a visa to migrate to Canada, you need to do it clean and do your assignment very, very well. And that is why even in US, although we don't want to talk about US today, let's save that for another day. We're deliberating solely on Canada for today. Any question, every question that people have been asking about Canada. Someone also asked that this is going to 8 months that he has put in for his son to study in Canada, and they've not heard from Canada. That is the way it is, because there are backlogs of applications on ground, you know, during the COVID time, and they're still treating, those applications. So you still need to exercise patience. Your documents are intact. They are not they are not missing. They are intact. So you need to just exercise some patience. You need to just exercise a little patience and wait for their feedback. They're going to get back to you, and I hope it's going to be a positive one this time around. And someone is asking that how much. Another question is popping up, that how much is required to migrate to Canada. So for many people that have been asking me about the proof of fund, how much, who need it, who doesn't need it. According to the reliable information from the Canada Visa Immigration page, those who need to tender a proof of fund are uh, who those who are applying under the federal skill. Those who need proof of fund are those who are applying under the federal skilled worker program. If your category falls under the federal skilled worker program or federal skilled trades program, you need to provide a proof of fund. And if you're coming with your family, I'm going to express all of that and figure to you. But there's some category that does not need proof of fund. Not everybody migrating to Canada needs a proof of fund. If you're applying under the Canadian Experience class, CEC, that we mentioned earlier, or you are authorized to work in Canada, and you have a valid job offer. When you have a valid job offer, when you have, we mentioned earlier that when you have a 1 year experience, you've worked in Canada earlier before, you can move permanently. So if you fall under this category, you don't need a proof of fund. And if you apply under the Federal Skill Worker Program or Federal Skill Trades Program, even if you apply under those one that needs proof of fund, so far you have a valid job offer, you don't need a proof of fund, because those who offered you the job will sponsor you. That is what it means. Once you have a valid job offer, when I explained the express entry, I told you about the subcategory which federal skill worker falls and federal skill trades program falls. This is solely handled by the government of Canada, and it is a means to migrate people into Canada in order to make them readily available for jobs offer in Canada. So they might not readily have job offers until they come to Canada, but there are openings readily made and available for them that government will fix them in. And it was stopped because of COVID, but it's coming back in this 2022-24 visa plan, immigration plan by Canada. So if you get me, say hi, like my video, share it, subscribe to my channel, and push the notification button to always get subsequent content that we're going to upload. And how much money you need, for those who fall under the category of those who need to uh, fund their account. How much do you need? The amount of money you need to support your family depends on the size of your family. If it is only you, or you're going with your partner, your spouse, or with dependent children, or your spouse dependent children, it varies. It varies, and include your spouse or dependent children, even if they are permanent residents or Canadian citizens, not coming to Canada with you. So you must include them on the line, so that whenever you want to bring them or invite them, there won't be trouble, there won't be problem. That is why with applying for visa in Canada under whatever category, you need to come clean. And now I'm going to show you how much funds that is needed. I'm going to be telling you how much fund that is needed. And under this description, and under the description box section, you can also find a link to the official website of Canada, Canadian visa immigration page. I'm going to be doing that for you. For you, so number of family members for one person, and you're migrating to Canada. After you know which category, and by the category, you know whether you want. You need to fund those whether you need proof of fund. If you fall in the category of those who have to make a proof of funds for their visa application singularly, all by yourself, you need 13,310 Canadian dollars. 13,310 Canadian dollars. Convert that, using your official exchange rate in your country, to get that amount that you need to provide for. It should not be less than that. It shouldn't be more than that. Don't impress anybody. That is what they need you to do. And this information is reliable and is on time. Is really, really on time. And if you're of two, maybe you and your partner, you need to provide for an additional over 3,000 Canadian dollars, which will amount to 16,570 Canadian dollars. 16,570 Canadian dollars. And if you're of three, you have a dependent child, it's going to be like it's going to be 20,371 Canadian dollars. 20,371 Canadian dollars. And for family of four, it's going to be 24,733 Canadian dollars. Family of five, 28,052 Canadian dollars. For family of six, that's going to be 31,638,000. For family of seven, it's going to be 35,224 Canadian dollars. And for each additional family member, you're going to provide just 3,586 Canadian dollars. After it's up to the seven family members. So if you have 8 family members, what you do is, for family of 7, 35,224, you just add an additional 3,586 Canadian dollar, and so on and so forth. And this is what Canadian Embassy, Canadian Immigration, IRCC, accept as proof of fund. Because some people have been asking me, what after is it only the bank account that I need to provide? Is it only the money? Can I use my landed property? Can I use my bond or my security? Can I use my bond? Can I use my shares or my security bonds? Canada is telling you that if you must apply and you want to show a proof of fund, the money must readily available. Must be readily available. The money must be readily available. So, and for this, what they accept as proof of fund is this: the money must be readily available. They don't want you to come with your shares or your bonds, your security bonds, or your landed properties, or any document of sort. They don't want that. They just want you to provide them with an official letter written by your bank, by your bank. Yeah, and it must show that you have access to that money anytime, because you're gonna need that money. It's an express money you're gonna need, and if you're applying for your spouse or your children, you must be able to access that money at any time, and you need to come with a letter to the embassy, and the letter must be printed on the letter-headed paper of that bank or any other financial company. Include their contact information and email address. You need to include all of that. Include your name and a list of outstanding debts, such as credit card debts and loans. If you have loans that you're servicing on that account, you need to list them, because if anything happens on that account, it means you just jettison your chances, and include for each current bank and investment account the account numbers, date each account numbers were open, current balance of each account, average balance for the past 6 months. This is Canada for you. Average account for the past 6 months, the date that the account was opened. So if you're running an account and you think because you want to apply for Canada, you went ahead to go and open an account that is like you just newly opened an account that is close to 1 year, or let's say 1 year old, you may jettison your chances of being granted visa, because they know, or they may think that is a short is a short. I mean, you are providing them with a bank account on a short term, so you need to provide a date you open that account, and these are many more of the reasons that people don't even know, even after they've refused them visa after their first application. They don't know. You need to include all this information. You need to include it. And at any time they may call you to come, I mean, to represent the same information. And if anything changes, you are in for it. So always look out for new updates, new information, because as far as this proof of fund is concerned, Canada updates it every year. So I'm talking of 2022. In the next few months, the calendar is going to change. In the next few months, we'll get into 2023, and they're going to update it. So please always check for updates on their website. Like I told you, I'm going to put the link to their website, their official website, at the description uh, space under this video. Please like this video, share it, and be generous with it. And please comment. Let's learn together. If you have one or two things, and if you have questions or agitations about Canadian visa application, please kindly put it on the comment section, and I will, in no time, provide you with a valid response. So, and fast forwarding, now the last question I will respond to is about uh, can I bring my children, my wife, dependent on me alongside my study curriculum in Canada? Can they migrate with me? And the answer is yes. when you apply for a study visa in Canada, you can as well apply for your partner or your dependent children. And your partner is eligible to have a work permit while you're studying in Canada. So while you study, your partner works and your children can go with you. So that settles it. So if there's any other question we have not treated here, or you have a personal, customized agitation about visa application, Canadian visa application, or you want to cross-check information, please be free to talk to us. Be generous to contact us. And you can always put it under the comment section or find our email and write to us. We are always available to the task. My name is Rabi Addition, and it's nice being with you here. But before I end this video, I'd like to dwell more or give you more details about the express entry. I'm so glad, I'm so excited. It has been on for a while, and the last draw took place on October 12th this year. And I know many people don't know about it. They never knew that Canada has started the express entry draw again. And actually, the cutoff mark for the last draw was 500. And the last draw happened, the last draw took place October 12, 2020, this year. And so many people got a chance to migrate permanently to Canada. And this express draw, one good thing about it is that it's all about job. It's all about job. And we have 4 categories, like I said. And remember, the last cutoff mark was 500. And you may not understand what I mean by cutoff mark. There's something called CRS under this this entry, this express entry. There is something called CRS, and the full meaning of CRS is a comprehensive ranking system. When you are applying for this under this express entry, you need to calculate your CRS. You need to provide, what it means is that you provide your information, either you're married, you're single, your education level, your experience at work, your job, your former jobs and the present ones. And so many questions will be asked in order to rank you a score. And there is a mark assigned to every information you provide. And there is also opportunity for you, perhaps you score low, to improve your mark. There are ways you can go about it. If your mark is below the cutoff, you may improve your CRS scores even after you have calculated and you fell, and after you have calculated your scores, maybe you couldn't meet up. You may need to add your wife, your children, and the score of your wife, her educational level, job experience, and every other thing will improve on your own. Express entry is back, and everyone can actually benefit from this. And let me quickly remind you of the 4 categories that is under this express entry, because express entry is an immigration system created by the IRCC. That is the body in charge of immigration, everything immigration that has to do with Canada. To manage Canada PR applicants looking to work in Canada, the system allows applicants to apply for one of the four categories, which include, we've mentioned this earlier, the Federal Skilled Workers Program, FSWP, and the Federal Skilled Trades Program, FSTP, the Canadian Experience Class, CEC, and the last one has to do with the Province, which is called the Provincial and Nominee Program, PNPN. So whichever category you fall or you choose to apply, good luck to you. Now, another thing I need to say here is that I'm going to tell you how the CRS is being calculated. By yourself, you will go. You don't need an agent to do this, and you don't have to wait till maybe 2 or 3 months to when you've planned your traveling. Even if you have not planned traveling now, keep trying. Everyone wants to go to Canada. Everyone want to migrate to Canada. Not everyone though, but a larger amount of people actually want to migrate, especially people in Africa. So please, if you're interested, I'm going to, give you the link to the CRS calculator. I'm actually going to put the link in the description section where you're going to see it. Just click on it. It's going to, take you to where you can calculate your CRS. The what you need to collate, to get points. So you're going to see that it's a personal review, personal calculator. Let's call it like that. And before I make some details available about it, I need to let you know that the express entry has been on since 2020. I told you earlier that it was because of COVID, that Canada decided to put it on hold, but it has been active. It has been operative since November 2020. So if you still don't know about it, or you are not well informed about it, this is an opportunity for you. Now let's go to the CRS, because you need to know what you need to put together to get a good mark, and it's as simple as that. And now to the CRS calculator, I'm going to break it down. Call human capital factors. This is the graph A, where the factors you need to consider, and Canada will really, really consider about you, is your age, and points per factor with a spouse or common law partner, and the point per factor without a spouse or common law partner. So I'm going to be you personally will need to calculate it yourself, but let me give you the detail. But the link is provided for in the in the description section. And if you need more information, just put it or write it, inscribe it in the comment section. I'll read it and I'll get back to you promptly. And the factors are age, your level of education, official language proficiency, and Canadian work experience. So let's check the calculator together. Call human capital factors. Let's check the factors that gives you the point. First of all, your age, your level of education, your official language, and your experience, your working experience, especially if you have earlier worked in Canada. Maybe you schooled in Canada and you do some sort of work. So that gives you a hedge. And I told you the other time that the last draw for this express entry was 500. The cutoff was 500. So you need to score 500 or above. You need to score 500 or more. So, and your age, we attract you 110 scores. Yes, with your age. If your age goes by what their expectation, if your age goes by their requirements, you score 110. And if you level of education, you have to score 150. And official language, especially English, in Canada they speak English, so You have to be proficient enough. And I say congrats to countries that their official language is English. And also, you need to, and you score 160 there. And if you've earlier had a work experience, maybe you've worked before in Canada, maybe during your study, you study and you work, so it's a plus for you. And putting all of this together, we have 110 plus 150 plus 160 plus 80, and that is going to arrive at 500. I told you 500 was the cutoff mark. And if you have a partner or spouse, there is a marks that goes with the factors too. So you need to get to the calculator, and for those who have other certificates to render, it is a very, very good a good grant for you. But there are ways, in case you still want to improve on, you're asking, I mean, maybe you're worried, how do I score more in this CRS score? How do I score more? There are ways to improve on your scores, and I'll be telling you now. The first one is language proficiency in language. Official language in Canada is English and French. So if you are proficient in English, is a plus for you. If you are proficient in English and French, is a plus for you. You can get as much as 260 marks only in language. So you get it. So that is one. And number two, work. Even though they request that you must have worked in Canada, working experience in Canada, but if you have other experiences even outside Canada, but you have a good experience of working in high grade, it's a plus for you too. Especially if you have more than 3 years full-time working, not part-time, full-time working experience is a plus for you. And also, for somebody that have studied in Canada before and back to his or her country, it's a very good plus for you to score more on your CRS. Is a very good plus. If you have studied before in Canada, is a very good plus for you. And another one is that if you have more than one certificate degrees, educational certificates, then is a plus for you to score more in your CRS. Another thing is your spouse can help you to score more if you have put in, and you had your spouse, and perhaps the level of education of your spouse, your spouse level of education is higher too. So is an added advantage for you. Another one is if you have actually applied for jobs in Canada and you have gotten a job offer. Oh, that is a plus for you on your CRS score. So, my people, that will be all for this section on this particular broadcast. And I hope you get to watch it again. Please like my video, share it, and give me a thumb up. If you need to ask me questions or need to contribute, you are free to do so. And also, please subscribe to my channel and spread the good news. Be generous about this information, because information is power. Please remember to push the notification button so that anytime I drop a new informative content like this, you will be the first person to be notified. Thank you for your time, and I hope to come your way next time. It's a good thing to be informed, because information is power. My name is Rabio Adeshino, and I remain yours sincerely till we meet again. God bless you. Good luck.